YouTubers? This is your boy Cartoon, and I'm here today to bring another Bleach Brave Souls video. I'm going to be doing the 6-star 100% character analysis on none other than Juni Buntai Cho, Urahara Kisuke. That's right, I'm going to be doing the 6-star 100% character analysis on the captain of the 12th squad and the first chief of research and development, Kisuke Urahara. So without further ado, let's get into this bad boy. Alright, so looking at his stats, they look pretty underwhelming. You know, this is kind of the thing for, you know, revival characters that came 5-star and then they're now 6-star. And it's not really impressive. So let's start off with stamina. 698 on the stamina. I would have wished for a higher stamina, being that he's a slasher type, so he's not ranged, and you know, it just provides very little defense and survivability for him. So I wish it was a little bit higher, but it is what it is, guys. Attack 499. This is an okay attack because I guess you can consider it rounded off to 500, but we want it like 520 to 550 range. But you know, it is what it is. Defense 293. This is a higher than average defense. It's pretty close to, like, you know, some of the guys that we see considerable defense from, but it's not the highest and it's not the greatest, and I'm really not trying to get hit in the first place, so it's like one of those attributes we don't really care about. Focus 233. This is pretty decent because it's close to the average, but not really because it's under the average. So that's, I mean, not getting able to crit very often, especially with the low attack, is just a real bummer and a letdown. Okay, SP 515. This is probably his one and only redeemable quality when it comes down to him as a character, because it's kind of respectable, but at the same time, I would have wished for a little bit of higher SP with these low stat counts. But, you know, one could only hope with the attainable upgrades. Maybe they might fix this up. His soul trait link is Crystal Drop, so that's not going to help in DPS very often. It's just one of those traits that you use when you're trying to farm some things. Alright, so let's get down to his soul tree. Alright, so looking at his soul tree, he has 6 attainable upgrades, none of which block his path to completing 150 levels. So all you'll have to do is augment him and provide him with the necessary jewels when you make your way down here, and that is stamina jewels, okay? They're tough to come by, but hey, if you want them up there, it's what it costs. Alright, so starting off with his attainable upgrades from left to right, top to bottom. Sprinter. This increases the number of flash steps, much needed on most characters and a standard thing. Havoc increases the strong attack area of effect. This is a plus. You know, his strong attacks were pretty notable back in the days. Next, Bombardment increases his special move hits. He has a kind of a full screen special, and I believe it hit 4 to 5 hits, so now it's going to hit 8 to 10 hits. That's pretty cool. Next, Bruiser increases his normal attack damage. That's always a plus. I always like some NAD. It's always great. Alright, next, Long Reach increases his normal attack area of effect. That's really good because now they're actually capitalizing on that string, and I didn't want it to be squandered. And lastly, Berserker. This increases his strong attack damage. So he has increase on strong attack damage, area of effect, and then he has normal attack damage and area of effect. That is absolutely fantastic for a character, especially seeing these low stats. Hopefully these increases are going to help out a lot when it comes down to DPS. But one could only hope. So without further ado, guys, please enjoy the clips. Running a sad build. Kenpachi raid quest, NAD build, full boosties. You know how we do. Let's get it poppin'. Sad. Well, alright. So, first things first, since we're running a sad build, let's test out those cooldown times. So first strong attack, 8 seconds. Second strong attack, 16 seconds, and final strong attack is going to be 24 seconds. These are fairly standard cooldown times for most characters, okay? So let's get into this. Okay, the first strong attack. Alright, that was 3k damage. I'm liking it. Second, it does double hits for about 16 to 18, and it's a pretty decent exchange going on. And the last one actually hits, I believe, 3 to 4 times on mobs, which is pretty interesting. I'll have the links for the, you know, average attack scores and whatnot on the bottom. But from what I'm seeing, he does do pretty decent normal attack damage from what I'm seeing, and also good, decent strong attack damage. I mean, it's obviously not frenzy damage, and it's not able to one-shot entry-level mobs, even with an increase of 50% SP. You know, it's when they don't have high SP, that 50% really doesn't do all that much. but it still provides really sufficient DPS, and I kind of like the way his string goes. Like his attack string is really good. It's very wide range, and it's all slashes, which is perfect. No piercing attacks. And then afterwards, he has like really good strong attacks that are all melee guard breaks for his supportive character, and they do pretty decent damage when you hit everybody with their full tenacity, meaning all the multi-hits hit. Yeah, I like a sad build for him. It's pretty decent. Alright, I'm going to test out Kisuke's special. There is a Tenchentai. Whoa, that does some serious damage. Running a SAR build. SAR build, full boosties. You know how we do. SAR. Alright, so first things first, since we're running a SAR build, let us test out those cooldown times. So first strong attack is going to be 5 seconds. Second strong attack is going to be 11 seconds. And last strong attack is going to be 16 seconds. Okay, that's fairly standard cooldown times because he's a fairly standard dude. Alright, so let's just see what he is like, you know, in his regular zone. Alright, so he's doing like 1500 per hit on these multi-hits. So you could hit upwards of 3k on the second one. The first one, wow, it did some decent damage. And I'm noticing a huge difference in his strong attacks from when he was using the SAR build. Really perfect. I mean the sad build, sorry. Yeah, he still does pretty decent damage, normal and strong attack wise. His normal attack hasn't really changed much since, you know, the last build, but he does fairly decent damage. He actually is a really good crowd controller for solo co-ops, but once again, you know, sometimes I play more to his NAD because it's such an efficient string, really pretty smooth and fluid. But you know, I don't really hate his strong attacks. I think they're really good because I seem to have a cooldown ready to go, and I could respond with a good combination of little NAD and SAD going on. So yeah, I kind of like the whole thing. It's really good crowd control. It doesn't really leave me too much in a pinch. I don't find myself biting for cooldowns, and I don't find it completely inefficient to continuously pummel them with a barrage of normal and strong attacks. It actually works with this character pretty well, but it is going to have a slow clear time because, you know, you're not doing any serious damage in either or category, so you're going to have to like deal with things like this. I mean, it's okay, but it's, you know, it's a SAR build. What can I say? Running a NAD build. Kenpachi raid quest, NAD build, full boosterinos. Let's get it poppin'. NAD build. Well, alright, so first things first, since we're running a NAD build, why don't we test out that string? 1, 2, 3, and 4. He finishes off with like a nice little flare slash that's gonna pizza slice someone. So I'm liking his string because it's a pretty wide string. It's pretty nice. I'm gonna have the slashes listed below at the bottom. Wow. Okay, so I'm pretty underwhelmed by the damage that he's producing. He seems to have pretty good defense when it comes down to getting hit. He can take hits pretty well. But yeah, of course he's gonna mop up mobs really easily because NAD builds tend to do that. But you see, all his attacks tend to usually scatter mobs. That's why playing to his strong attacks is a little bit better because you do a lot more consistent damage. You kind of have to line up some of his strong attacks so that you can actually get the jump on the mobs. You know, you use the strong attacks as pushbacks, and then you just try to eliminate as much as you can in the process of them being knocked down and their recovery. Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, using his strong attacks to kind of open up for his normals is like your only option when it comes down to running a NAD build on this character, because you want to take advantage of his wide range strong attacks to kind of give you the edge on the competition. Otherwise, you will get killed. But a NAD build has a faster clear time. It's okay. It's alright. Pretty decent. Well, there you have it. That's my 6-star 100% character analysis on past Kisuke. In the end, you find out that this character works particularly well with a NAD build as it gets the top score. A SAD build gets the secondary score, but very close to the NAD build, and a SAR build gets the final score. So the breakdown for this is fairly simple. When it comes down to a NAD build, it's actually a no-brainer. It's one of the faster clear times. He has a very smooth string, none of that piercing stuff. They're all slashes, and it's very clean. He's just like a very clean, basic character, you know. And I like that factor about him. You know, he's not too outstanding with the NAD, but you know, it's okay, and his strong attacks actually support the NAD build as great segues into individualizing DPS on specific mobs, or just knocking back mobs and taking advantage of that momentary ceasefire. Okay, so I would go with the NAD build if I was going to run a solo raid or something. If I'm going to run co-op, then I probably would opt for a SAD or a SAR build. Okay, when it comes down to the SAD build, he has great strong attacks with good AoE. The problem with them is that if you don't use them correctly, which it's very easy not to, you can actually scatter mobs in a really troublesome manner where you'd have to individualize DPS on one mob at a time or two mobs at a time, and that just kind of makes the whole build fall apart. I mean, all of his strong attacks kind of have their own disconnect from one another. Aside from the first two looking pretty similar to one another, they still both scatter mobs, and they don't really allow the other's AoE to kind of take over for the second hit. So you kind of have to wait till they get up and kind of regroup and kind of just get on you. And that's just really troublesome, and it does slow down the build just a little bit. I also find myself using the NAD in the strong attack build more often than most times because of the individualizing of DPS. So, you know, it's a little bit troublesome. And a SAR build, though it is one of the safer builds and it's pretty fun to use, it just doesn't produce enough damage for me to actually take it on the field for a solo raid. You'd have to throw in some SAT in there because it just, like I said, gets tedious. And with those disconnects on his strong attacks, you're going to be launching a lot more strong attacks from room to room depending on the wave size. So, you know, that's just something that's a little impractical for most farmers alike. Alright? Good redeemable qualities about him. He's a purple character, so of course he's going to be doing stock damage plus on any and all raids. Okay, that's probably one of the most redeemable qualities about him. That, and he's a very basic character. I could say he's like one of those characters you can pick up and play and kind of learn your style with him. If you are a fan of Kisuke Urahara, you might just wind up leveling him up anyway. So I just tell you this for that reason. But if you want my opinion on it, this character would get an F rating. And I usually don't like to give purple characters an F rating, but he just doesn't have anything outstanding about him for me to say that this is the guy. You know, his special's okay, everything just on him is okay, and he just symbolizes a basic character. And at this stage in the game, we have so many outstanding characters that one of these guys had to have blessed your account. And it just makes him look a little lackluster to me. If they would have just gave him a little bit more stat counts or a little bit more berserker and bruiser to kind of bring that NAD string up a little bit, I would have been a little happier with him and he would have got a better grade. But he gets an F rating, which means that I wouldn't level him up if I were you. I just leave him in my box as a link, and when you're ready to take on a project for like 75 orbs, then go for it. But, you know, in terms of utility for this character, yeah. But that's just my analysis. You're more than welcome to make up your own opinions on this matter because that's what this is about, guys. But either way, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. As always, I'll be bringing you more Bleach Brave Souls content throughout the week. I'm your boy Scartoon, and I'm signing out of here.
Dude, chill. Productions!